Hi everyone, this is Lady Emmanuel back with you again with this first 9 weeks exam review. This is the part 4 section. Let me continue on with part 4. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and read this. A store manager begins each shirt with the same total amount, or each shift with the same total amount of money. She keeps $200 in a safe and distributes the rest equally to the 5 cashiers in the store. Okay. This situation can be represented by the function. Okay, this is what? Okay, the function. Okay, what does the X represent in this situation? Okay, X minus 200. Okay, a store manager begins each shift, that's the F, shift with the same total amount of money. She keeps $200 in a safe. This is 200. This is the safe. This is money in the safe. Okay, and distribute the rest equally to the 5 cashiers. So whatever is over 200. So the X represent whatever is over money not in safe. Safe, but it's distribute. Because that's what it said. It says she keeps in a safe the $200 and distribute the rest equally. So it's what's divided into the 5 cashiers. Money not in safe is distributed to the 5 cashier. 5 cashiers. Oh, my handwriting. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying, because the writing is messing up. Okay. So we know that's what the X represents. This situation can be represented by this function y equals x minus 200 all divided by 5. What does the variable X represent? Okay, so we know what the total amount of money the manager has at the beginning of the shift. Nope, that's 200. Well, that's not what she had at the beginning of the shift. We don't really know. We just store manager begins each shift with the same total amount of money. Okay, so we don't know. They didn't tell us that. It's the total amount of money the manager has at the end of the shift. No. The amount of money each cashier has at the beginning of the shift, the rest equals to the 5 cashiers. Okay, the amount of money each cashier at the end of the shift. So now we need to know, is it the beginning of the shift or the end of the shift? Because these two are the same thing. Begins each shift. So it's the begin. It begins each shift with the same total amount. Okay, it begins. Okay, so it's the beginning, not the end. So we know it's C. Bam, we know it's not D. Okay. So moving on to question 21. So here we go with 21. Which graph shows a function with a domain, that's my X. So domain, that's my X. Of all real numbers greater than 7. All real number. So X is greater than 7. Okay, so it's going to the right, because greater than mean go to the right, to the right of 7. So let's go through and find our lovely 7 on the domain. So we know we're looking at the X. Okay, the X, and this is the X. The 7 is right there. The 7 is right there. That's the X. The X. The 7 is right there. The 7 is right there. That's the X. Okay. So it's getting large. It's getting greater than. It's getting greater than. And now if we look at this starts at 7. It starts at 7. It's an open circle. That's good, because the open circle means either it's going to be greater than or less than. It's no equal sign. So that's good. So it's going to the right like we want to. So that has potential. This is going down. What's going down for? It's going down vertically. So all the X is 7. So the domain here is just 7. X equals 7. That's the domain for this one. So it's not B, because it's not greater than 7. Here, again, the domain, it is going up. So that's 7. Domain is just 7. equals 7. So it can't be this. It can't be the vertical one, guys. Because our real number is vertical. That's just one x value. That's one x value. So we know it can't be the vertical ones at all. Okay. So either A or C. Now, C here starts on 0. It's 0 because the x on here is 0. This is 0, 7. That's your x. That's your y. Okay. Whereas for this one, we have here 7, 3. That's my x. That's my y. My x is 7 and my y is 3. And it's going to the right and my x is 7. Here they trying to trick me. They made my y 7. They made my y 7, so it's not C. It has to be A. Okay. Number 22. Here we go. A tennis player broke the old record for the most matches won in a tournament by at least 2. At least 2. That means greater than or equals to 2. Okay. Which inequality can be used to find all possible values of T, the number of matches the player won, in terms of R, the old record? So he said a tennis player broke the old record for the most matches. For the most matches. I'm going to put my table here. So I know R is independent. That's my X. It's independent. I know T is dependent. Okay. And the tennis player broke the old record for the most matches won in a tournament by at least 2 matches. Which inequality can be used to find all possible values of T, the number of matches the player won, in terms of R, the old record? The old record. So if you know he did at least 2 for the matches, then you have it set up as R and T, and you go through and you play with it. And you see which one make it true. Okay. Now keep in mind that some of it just really out the question. Because if G and H, it just said he won at least by 2. So really you're going to be dividing. You know, if you really think about it, dividing, really, isn't that cutting it in half? Because if you, it seems like it's cutting it in half. So that's not, by the old record, it's cutting it in half. So it would be H. But then here it's saying that, in terms of the old record, here it's saying that it's double. So T is going to be greater than equals than 2 times the matches. That doesn't make sense. So you choose. Is it going to be F or J? It's at least 2 matches. And I'm going to go ahead to the next one. And some of them do like this so I can go ahead and get through. So now you, between F and J, what do you think? And you can ask me in class about that one. Or you can reason that out. Okay. Going on to 23. 23. An architect is designing an office building with N floors. I don't see a picture here. So how it's going to help me. Anyway, that will have an FM radio antenna 15 and 8500 meters tall on its roof. Okay? So now I'm going to draw my building. This is my building. You know how you put the little windows there? That's a window. That's a window. That's a window. I don't know how many floors it has. The floors, I don't know. I'm just. Then I know it's got an FM, a radio antenna. I guess that's how this is going to be my antenna. And this height right here is 15.85 meters tall. Okay. That's my antenna right here. Okay. It's each floor of the building would be 3.9 meters high. They didn't tell me how many floors though. Which function can be used to find the total height of the building in meters, including FM antenna? So I already know it's going to be 15.85, but I don't know how many floors. How many floors? How many floors? I don't know. Number of floors? I don't know. So that, I don't know. So if it's don't know, so that's what my N must represent. N represent the number of floors. So it's N floors. I don't know. Do I know how tall the floors are? Let's go back and see. I know that I'm automatically going to have this 15.85. Just add it. Hold up. They multiply 15.85 times N. That's the number of floors. That doesn't make sense. That's the height of the antenna. It can't be A. Here, okay. Here, okay. What? Don't tell me they just added some numbers up and think I'm going to fall for it. I don't know what D is. We just going to ignore D. So here we go. It's trying to find out the total height. Total height. Total height. Total, perhaps, is talking about addition, adding, instead of subtracting, because the 15 to 8500 is part of the antenna. So it can't be taken away, because this, they told it, is a part of it. So it can't be C, because they're subtracting that, and they shouldn't. Okay, here, 3 and 9/10. Each floor, each floor is 3.9. Okay, so each floor is 3.9 meters. And the FM radio antenna is 15.85. And I know it's the total. It says total. So since it's total, I know it's going to be addition. Although this had an addition right here. Who did it? I thought it had an addition. Yes, it did. It had an addition, but it's not adding the antenna. It's adding something, the floor, one floor, really? Who do they think I am? So I know my answer choice is B, because the number of floors representing it. And each floor height is 3 and 9/10 meters, because it tells me that right there. I have my support. Okay. Number 24, the measure of an obtuse angle. Obtuse angles, they are greater than 0. So I'm going to say obtuse angle. Got to write down what I know. Greater than 0 or greater than 90 degrees? It's less than 180 degrees. And it's greater than 90 degrees. So it's between 90 and 180 degrees. Okay. So it's the measure of an obtuse angle is represented by 9x plus 27 degrees. That's an obtuse angle. This is an obtuse angle. Okay. Which is not possible for x. So here we go. So here I need something between 90 and 180. What is not possible? So I'm just substitute everything in. That's what I could do. Or, oh yeah, I better do it this way, because I don't want you guys to, I could do it another way, but I don't want you to. Okay, here we go. So let's do 9 times 7.1 plus 27. See what you get. You do 9 times 12.3 plus 27. 9 times 16.9 plus 27. 9 times 6.8 plus 27. So you substitute everything in. You get your little friend here, and you go ahead and put that in your little friend. So you would say 9 times 7.1 plus 27. Enter. That's 90.9. So that's 90.9. So that's in between. Okay. Oh, and it says not possible. It said not a possible value. So that's what we're looking for, not. So this is possible. So it can't be that. Okay. Then here, we're going to say 9 times 12.3 plus 27. And we get 137.7. That is possible. So, because that's between 90 and 180. Then we do 9 times 16.9 plus 27. And we get 179.1 degrees. So it can't be 16.9. So 9 times 6.8 plus 27. And you probably say, well, you know what the answer is, but I check anyway. What if I made a mistake? So this is 88.2 degrees. So this right here is acute, because it's between 0 and 90. So that's an acute angle. So D is not a possible value for it to be obtuse. Okay. So here we go. This one, the average annual rainfall for a particular city is 33.2 inches. That's the average rainfall. The average rainfall, 33.2 inches. in the first 30 weeks of this year, the first 30 weeks, okay, so the first 30 weeks, so let me do something. Weeks, rainfall, okay, so 30 weeks, okay, so in the first 30 weeks of this year, the city received a total of 9 7/10 inch of rain. Okay. If it is expected to rain between 1 5/10 and 2 1/10 inches per week through the end of the year, what is? So we got 30, so we got, it's 52 weeks in a year, so we got 22 weeks left. Okay, so that's like going from 31 on down to 52. Okay. So how many, if you think about how many more weeks that we have left from 30 to 52, you know that it's going to be 22 weeks left. Okay, 22 weeks left. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do to figure out that solution? What are you going to do? You probably, perhaps you'll say that you're going to say 22. You can say 22 times 1 5/10 and add that to 33 and 2 inches. But would that make sense? Because it says if it is expected to rain, blah, 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 per week through the end, what is the reasonable number of additional weeks needed for this city? Okay. So that means that it's probably not going to take 22 weeks, but you could try that to see what you're going to do to get 33.2. So if you do that, that maybe, or you know what? I wouldn't do all that. But you can because they got a 23 there. So let's see. Let's see what it gives us. Let's go ahead and do it since I wrote it. 22 times 1.5 plus 33.2, enter. So you got 66.2. That's almost double it. This is like 66.2 inches. So that's for 22 additional weeks. So you know A is out of the question. That is way too much. So let's try 13 and 9. So what we have here, 22 weeks. Let's do 13 times 1 5/10 plus 33.2. Okay, and put on here too much. That was 66.2, and that was when it's 1 5/10, not even 2.1. We could have just did an estimate, but it's okay. So let's do 13 times 1.5 plus 33. You know what? Y'all see what I'm doing? You see, because I'm like, this is not making sense. In my head, I'm saying this is not making sense. You know why it's not making sense? I'm doing exactly what you guys would do. I am. I'm taking the average. I'm not supposed to be adding that 33. I'm supposed to be adding 9.7. That's what I'm supposed to be adding. 9.7. 9.7. 9.7. 9.7. That's what I should be adding. Because that's the rainfall that's occurred. This is the average we're trying to get to. We want it to equals 33.2. We're trying to get to 33.2. Okay? So be careful with that. I love it. I love it when I do something like that. And then and I'm so bad about catching myself or others because it's constantly going over. Okay, am I doing it? What am I using? Should I be using that? So we got 29.2. When it's 13. When it's 13, this is 29.2 inches rainfall. That's when it's 32. And that's for the lower range, the 1.5, not the 2.1 per week. This is 1.5, okay, with 13 weeks because I'm using the numbers they gave me here. That's what I'm doing. So if this is at 29.2, then we still know 23 weeks is too much because we're almost there with 1.5, okay? So we know that most likely 16 is too much because with this one, it says, what is a reasonable number of additional weeks needed for this city to reach its average rainfall? If we use 2.41, you got 13, 2.1 plus 9.7. So we could do 13 times 2.1 plus 9.7 and press enter. And you see that we get 37. So with it being between 1 and 5/10 or 2 and 1/10, then for that 13 weeks period, it's going to end up reaching the 33.2. So the answer would be the lovely 13 weeks. Okay. This is going to be too much. I should say this is too much. Okay. This is not enough. Not enough. And you probably, how do you know? I'm using reasoning skills. Because 13 is right there. Then that means 9 is not enough. 16 is too much. This is too much. But you can go through and do it all. Okay. So here we go. Moving to 26. It's time for me to let you guys do one. Okay. Here we go. Going on to the next one. My favorite. The scatter plot shows the number of free throws that different basketball players attempted and the number that each player made. Okay. Attempted. Made. So I really don't need this no more. I'm sorry I wasn't. This, I marked it out because it's just telling me the free throws attempted and the free throws made. Okay. So it's based on the trend, the data, approximately. That means it's about, it's not exact. How many free throws would a player be expected to make if he attempted 60 free throws? If he attempted 60 free throws. So that's attempted. Okay. So now this thing about it. You know you don't expect 10. 10 is out of the question. Okay. Then here, 70 is too much. Because all the points are in here. You see how they're all in here? And then if you think about it like right up in here, I would think that 20 is not enough. Just looking at the trends here. Okay. And then I would say that maybe it's perhaps it's between 20 and 50. Okay. Between 20 and 50. It's based on the trend data plus how many free throws would a player be expected to make if he attempted 60 free throws. And you can go and look at 50. You can look at 50 where it got, that's about 25, huh? That's about 25 for 50. Then for 70, it's about 20. But do you expect for it to go down or up? Mostly if you look at it, it seems like it should increase. So I would not expect 25. This could be just a thrown off one. I would expect in between 25 and 50. I would expect in between 25 and 50. I wouldn't expect 60. I wouldn't expect 60. Okay? Because 60 is here. And look. You don't have no points. This is like a just, although it's over here at the 80 or between 80 and 90, it seems like it's just off. It's not in the trend, if you will. So I would think that 60, and I'm not going to do all this for you. I'll say 60, no. 60 and 25, no. That's what I would say. Okay? And then I would decide between 35, which would be right here. I would say, will it be 35? Or will it be up here to 50? Which one fit in much better? And that's how I would look at that one. Okay? 27. Which inequality is equivalent to negative 3x plus 2y greater than 5y plus 9? Which one is equivalent? So what I would do here, I'm going to act like it's an equation. And you see how they have, and I'm looking for me a sugar pencil. You see how they have it all y? So to me, I want to isolate my y. So what I would do here, I will go ahead and get my lovely y by itself. So I have here negative 3x plus 2y, 5y plus 9. I'm going to ignore this right now. And I'll just bring it down, putting this here. Okay? As my, like an equal sign. So I would say, okay, 3x, I want you to move over to the other side because I want my y to be on the left side because they have it on the left side. So I'm saying plus 3x plus 3x. And you're supposed to, but it has nothing over there to combine. You're right. This at its inverse, go to 0. I'm left with 2y. And I would leave the greater than sign. But remember, you do it the same way. So here I have 5y plus 9 or plus 3x. Let me put my x before my 9. Plus 3x plus 9. Okay. Then I want to move this 5y over here. So I'm going to say negative 5y, because I can have all my y terms on one side. At its inverse goes to 0. Negative 5 plus 2, that's negative 3y. Put my greater than sign here. Plus 3x plus 9. Okay. Now is y by itself? No. So I'm going to divide each term by negative 3. Now this is the thing. When you divide or multiply a negative number, when you're dealing with inequality, you have to switch the sign. Okay? So I'm dividing by a negative. This has to switch. It has to switch. Okay? So the negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1, which is y. 3 divided by negative 3 is a negative 1. So that's negative x. 9 divided by negative 3 is a negative 3. So negative x minus 3. Negative x. This is not a negative x. That's negative x. This is not a negative x. This is negative x. So I got a b and a d. Let's have negative x minus 3. And now keep in mind, if you forget to switch this sign, you go and check. You check and you can put some values in to make it true to see if it's going to give you a true statement. But in this case, I'm just telling you, this, it says greater than, this is the same, so it cannot be B. Because you got to switch the signs. I mean, it's going to be less than, so D is your answer choice. Okay? Only when you multiply and divide by negative. Other than that, it stays the same. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next one. Okay. Here we go. We got some more inequalities. Guys, you just really, well, I say inequality, I mean scatter plot. Okay, you probably say, oh, wait, you must be getting tired. Sort of. I'm trying to just go through something so you guys can see things and see how I look. So I need to speed it up. But you know what? I'm going to make another one. That was the end of part 4. This will be the beginning of part 5. Guys, I love you. Have a great day. Miss Emmanuel. Holla.